And by that time, we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, are we still going to war with Iraq? And he said, oh, it's worse than that. He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran.
Wow. Huh. Unconfirmed. Yeah. Unconfirmed. No. Unconfirmed reports about Gaddafi being captured. Unconfirmed. Yeah. We've had too many. We've had a bunch of those before. We've had, have had him captured a couple of times.
10 years ago, the Arab Spring made its impact in Libya. Back then, Libya was a wealthy country, ruled by a strong man, yes, but rich, one of the most prosperous states in Africa. But people wanted more. They wanted freedom, democracy, and they were willing to fight for it. Gaddafi held power for 4 decades. He had outsmarted the intellectuals, beat the Islamists to a pulp, trashed the liberals, and ground down every rival. He knew how to survive. Plus, he had millions of people on his side.
I will not leave my grandfather's remains in here. I will die with him as a martyr at the end.
And so began one of the 21st century's worst geopolitical calamities. It was chaos, brother against brother. Towns and villages for and against Gaddafi. Regiments and warlords, gangs and tribes duking it out over who controls the oil, the cities, the roads, and the ports. And still, Gaddafi wouldn't fall. What ultimately led to his demise was his independence. It was a pain in the backside for Europe, for America. It wasn't that he was a dictator, that he sponsored... Ultimately led to his demise was his independence. It was a pain in the backside for Europe, for America. It wasn't that he was a dictator, that he... What ultimately led to his demise was his independence. It was a pain in the backside for Europe, for America. It wasn't that he was a dictator, that he sponsored terror, or that he suppressed dissent. Look at Saudi Arabia or Bahrain, close allies of the West. It was that he wouldn't play fetch. He'd given them the middle finger for so many decades and gotten away with it until March 2011.
We will deny the regime arms, cut off its supplies of cash, assist the opposition, and work with other nations to hasten the day when Gaddafi leaves power.
I want to give all praise and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Harakakadash. Double honors to all the elders and apostles of GMS that taught me the truth. Peace and shalom to my fellow Akim that taught me the truth and are pushing the truth with honesty and sincerity. Shalom. And I ran across this video that popped up on my feed, and it was titled Libya still in a war-torn city, even after being quote-unquote liberated by NATO and America. And I just want to do a quick lesson on it, man. Just going into showing you how that America and NATO is definitely the beast that's in Revelations, the 13th chapter, man. All right. And that Esau Edom is the man of sin, the son of perdition, okay? The son of destruction, man. And let me see. We're going to start here with Micah. Micah 2 and 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hands. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. And Gaddafi wanted to start the gold dinar. Okay. Gaddafi wanted to start the gold dinar. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can. There was a list of different things that Gaddafi wanted to do for the people of his country. Let me see if I can find it and pull it up real quick. I'll be right back. Yeah, I was able to pull up some of it, just real quick. Just to goes to show you that Esau Edom is the devil. And this is just 30 Gaddafi facts, his economic reforms in early life. Let me see. In this list of 30 Muammar Gaddafi facts, we will like to shed light on something about his dictator, about whom the West speaks only one thing: a terrible and vicious dictator. Turns out that this man who was tagged as a terrible dictator by the Western imperialistic forces that hog on the natural resources of undeveloped countries in the name of liberating them, gave Laya a little over decades of unprecedented growth. His rules were counter-capitalist and counter-communist. As with every dictator, Gaddafi had his fair share of eccentricities and some suppression, but whether or not he was a ruthless dictator is truly a subject of intense debate. He was likely killed in the name of liberating Libya from a dictator, but turns out the country, which was supposedly experiencing a regime of suppression during Gaddafi's rule, has returned to anarchy and chaos. Who is benefiting from that? Yes, Western capitalistic imperialism. And for Libya, that once was Africa's richest nation under Gaddafi, has come down to be a war-torn and one of the most troubled countries in Africa, man. This is what happens when this man comes in. All right, he everything that he touches turns into shit and death, man. And the book of Habakkuk, which we're about to get into, will further describe that. We're not going to go through all these. We're just going to read through a few of them. It says Muammar Gaddafi facts, economic and social reforms. Gaddafi made electricity free for all Libyans. Yes, there were no electricity bills. There was no interest on loans. Yes, Gaddafi's regime was one where banks loaned money to Libyans without charging any interest rate. The loans were given by the state owned that had no external debt. Before Gaddafi came to power, the literacy rate in Libya was more than 25%. After he took power, he took aggressive measures to rural school buildings and many other educational incentives. Soon Libya had a 83% literacy rate with 25% graduates. If any graduate in Libya failed to get employed, Gaddafi government would pay him or the average salary in his or her field until the person found the job. Anyone in Libya who wanted to get into agriculture was wholeheartedly supported. Land, seeds, equipment, livestock, and fertilizers, anything was given free of cost so that person could start agricultural activities without any impotent. Let me see here. If medical facilities in Libya couldn't address the medical needs of a Libyan citizen, the government would fund medical treatments abroad with the same 2,300 USD monthly allowance for accommodation, food, car allowance, etc. I mean, this man does sound like a ridiculously devilish tyrant, man. But this is what happens when you go against the grain, man, of dealing with Esau Edom. So we'll finish up this video and then get back to the scriptures.
After what happened in Iraq and Afghanistan, everyone was naturally a little concerned about NATO rushing in, guns blazing. So they tricked the UN. They filed a resolution to establish, quote, a no-fly zone over Libya to protect civilians. Once they got it approved, they then said that Gaddafi was the threat to civilians, not just the jets. Cue guns blazing.
Some of the first U.S. Tomahawk missiles had been launched on Libya.
We are at war once again, and this first phase is to take out Gaddafi's air defenses. We have just learned that the U.S. has fired its first missiles at Libyan air defenses.
NATO conducted almost 10,000 air raids on Libya, dropped thousands and thousands of bombs that annihilated pro-Gaddafi forces that also killed dozens and dozens of civilians, according to Human Rights Watch. Gaddafi was
And this was under Obama's watch. I like to add. Let me see here. So we'll go from there. We'll finish it out. We'll finish the video out. Salakia.
eventually caught. He was tortured and murdered right there. No court, no trial.
We came, we saw, he died.
She wasn't laughing when those same victorious rebels, which she helped get rid of Gaddafi, stormed the American consulate the next year and murdered the US ambassador. That is perhaps when they finally realized what they had done. It was another Iraq, another Afghanistan, and the fires that they lit burn to this day.
This marks the end of a long and painful chapter for the people of Libya. Hillary's huge Libya disaster. Disaster.
Libya is in chaos.
Anarchy, political and military vacuum.
Jihad is wonderland.
Death, displacement, and destruction.
Is it fair to say Libya was better off under Gaddafi?
10 years of endless war, chaos, war crimes. Today, Libya's GDP is a third of what it was in 2010. Its democracy score is the same as it was under Gaddafi. Standard of living is...
Woo, man. Hey, man. This man is something else, man. This man is something else. I don't even have Habakkuk or Habakkuk pulled up, man. I thought I had it pulled up. Salakia, y'all. Salakia, while we get that route real quick. Just goes to show you, man. Dealing with this devil, man. This demon. Let me see. We'll start at verse 4. This is Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as deaf, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And that's what he went in there and did. All right. Because Gaddafi wanted to be backed by the gold dinar, wanted to reject the dollar, denuclearized as well. And then that's when they invaded the man. And now look, all right, literally a third world country, man. And you seen the people said that it was one of Africa's strongest nations, man. And look what it is now, man. A shithole nation. All right. Excuse me. Verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth, which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. Because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein, woe to him that coveteth in evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from power of evil. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and a city established with iniquity. And look, man, that's what's going to happen, man. All right, which is why you see America falling down from the inside out, man. And these other nations are seeing that, man. And then you go down to verse 6, it says that, all right, or 16. Okay, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that puttest thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken. Also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. And that's what's happening. America's being shamed right now, man. Okay, they are experiencing economic woes. They are experiencing a division upon people, the Republicans and Democrats and the left and the right, and Black Lives Matter and Antifa and Proud Boys and Boogaloo Boys and all this other shit. Okay, they're being eaten alive from the inside out, man. All right, and it's because of all the evil shit that you've done. All right, heaping to yourself other nations and other people, man. Stuff that doesn't belong to you. And just this quick little article that I seen right here says I typed in why Rome wanted to expand, and it says the more wealthy and powerful the Romans became, the more able they were to further expand their empire. The Romans were not content with conquering land near to them. They realized that land further away might also have riches in them that would make Rome even more wealthy. Hence their drive to conquer Western Europe. And when you read the book of Daniel, the 7th chapter, it kind of tells you that, man. All right, this is Daniel's the 7:23. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth king upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And that's what America's done, man. All right, that fourth beast, man. All right, the Roman Empire reinvented, man, America 2.0, man. But because of the iniquities that have reached the heavens, man, the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is eventually going to end up bringing this place down, man. Let me see here. This is Ecclesiastes or Sirach 21:8. He that buildeth his house with other man's money is like one that gathered himself stones for his for the tomb of his burial. And what Esau is doing is digging a trap for himself, man. All right, laid a snare for himself, man, and he wasn't aware of it, like the book of Jeremiah says, man. All right, so I was really just seeing that video, it just popped up on my feed, and I decided I'd go ahead and do just a quick lesson on it, man. America being that whore that ride up upon the beast, okay, and that Esau Edom being the control of it, man, through NATO and the EU. All right, so hopefully this lesson's edified, and shalom.